Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Mark My Brain. Today, we'll be talking about maximizing the experience of the present moment, which might sound a bit abstract, but let me clue you in. Let me tell you why I've decided to discuss this topic. It is because, of course, it is somewhat personal, and I found myself often feeling like I've missed on something, like I'm late, either with realization or action. Like I'm always a bit behind, or like I should have appreciated something more in the moment it was happening. Um, and of course, I only realize this in retrospect when I'm reflecting, for example, on some of my experiences or periods I've went through. And at times, it can feel really hopeless because you feel like you are always arriving late for existence or something along those lines. And of course, I think it will probably always be the case to some degree. Mm, you know, the quote, you don't know what you've got until it's gone, appears to be completely true. And it is probably something we can't completely get rid of. However, I've also realized that the only real way to combat these feelings and trying to replace them with something more positive is by trying to maximize your experience in the present moment, which I feel would include things like appreciation, gratitude, trying to live through each moment fully, etc. Things that will bring me back to reality right here, right now, things that will ground me, sort of. Because when you are feeling these feelings, like you are late, you are behind, you're oftentimes comparing yourself to other people, and you're also oftentimes thinking about the past, for example. Oh, if I've done this, then maybe this would happen and I would enjoy it more. Oh, I should have, appreciated more the time when I was there and there with those people, stuff like that. So, anything that can sort of bring you back to this moment right now, I feel is sort of an antidote to those feelings because you only have this moment to experience. Everything else in the past is already gone and the future didn't happen yet. So, yeah, I really think that the focusing on right now, right here, is basically the only real way to combat this. And I've noticed that the more I'm distracted from the present, as I mentioned, by thoughts, but also by music, videos, reels, posts on social media, messages, and similar things, especially if it's something fast paced, like those videos just scrolling reel after reel, the more anxious and tense I sometimes tend to feel. And I think the reason that is because I'm not living in reality, again, right here, right now, but more and more in my head. I'm sort of detaching myself from the present, from the reality. And what probably doesn't also help is our, or at least my, susceptibility to cheap dopamine. And in these situations, to me, it seems that it works sort of paradoxically because we start to feel bad or anxious. So naturally, we want some dopamine hit to feel better, right? Dopamine feels good. And the easiest way, or the learned way that feels the easiest, is through cheap dopamine, which means like social media, again, scrolling reels, porn, even, which actually even worsens the issue because, as I mentioned, these are things that make me more distracted from the present and live more and more in my head, which then sort of boils down to me not enjoying the present moment as much as I should. I feel it just worsens the issue. And I found the antidote, sort of, to be boredom. It feels like it's one of the realest or most raw ways to be present, at least to me. And I don't know why I've never really thought about it, the utility of boredom, right? But lately I've really been appreciating those moments where you just sit maybe in a train, public transport, or just waiting somewhere, and you just decide to not open your phone, leave it in your pocket, not even open a book and start reading, but you're just waiting there, which I guess to many people would or could seem like a really boring way to spend your time. But actually, in the context of today's topic, it really, again, grounds you. Because maybe it is because if you are not served any easy stimuli in the form of, again, social media, posts, videos, messages, whatever, you have nowhere else to turn your attention, and you start to sort of explore the present moment and situation around you. You start looking around, wondering about objects or people around you, listening to the sounds, what's happening around you and in your view. So I feel that the attention, what you choose to focus on, is really the key. And to sort of highlight that point, even Stoics had a saying that goes, quote, "We become what we give our attention to," end quote. And yeah, when I was thinking and reflecting on this topic and the thoughts around it, uh, I've, yeah, it seems so true, but also something that is oftentimes overlooked. There are also other Stoic sayings that I would like to mention. For example, quote, "The present moment is the only thing you've got to lose," end quote. Which again sort of puts in perspective, like, yeah, past already happened, future didn't happen yet, so really you are always living in the now, right? And once one moment happens, it's already gone. So really, the only thing you've got to lose, or the only thing you've got to gain and experience, is the present moment. So again, I feel, at least for me, it seems that this again highlights the importance of focusing on the present moment. And maybe you've heard about the Stoic exercise Memento Mori, which basically just means remember death, which is sort of, for some people, maybe a bit gruesome exercise or practice when you think about what you've got to your life and you imagine that it's already gone. You know, you are dead, you are living your last day, and everything, all the people you've known, all the things you've experienced, all the things you've gained are already gone because you're dying, and in a few moments you won't be here. And the goal of this exercise is to then refocus again on your life right now and live the rest of your life to the fullest, to experience it to the fullest, to live it in a way that when you really will be on your deathbed, you will be able to look back and be proud of what you've went through and how you've experienced things, right? That you didn't waste any time and stuff like that. So maybe that can be something that you can try, or we can try, to sort of again appreciate the present moment more, right? Okay, so I feel like right now I've talked a lot about why is it important to focus on the present moment and some of the disadvantages or cons of detaching yourself from the present moment. But alright, I'm someone who feels the way oftentimes, like I'm behind, I'm not living to the fullest, I'm not appreciating every moment to the fullest. How can I change this, right? And I think that the change must come in the form of building a habit. Only this time it's not a physical habit, like exercising, for example, but a mental one. And I've used to think that changing mindset, quote that is oftentimes thrown around, like, oh, you have to change your mindset on this thing and everything will change for you. You have to change your mindset about money and you will become a millionaire overnight, or stuff like that. You've probably seen it online as well. And I've used to think that this was mainly about realization, right? You come across a new eye opening thought, and suddenly, just because you are aware of it, your life will then change. But that's not entirely true, is it? More and more, I realize that just as we have bad habits like smoking or being lazy and procrastinating that are hard to break and require effort to overcome, our thoughts and thought patterns also carry momentum, the bad ones as well as the good ones. And just like with building healthier habits like exercising or eating healthy, changing our thought patterns and mental habits, how our mind behaves, will require the same amount of effort, if not more. But I think the approach is probably very similar to building habits in general, right? Which is something I've already done an episode about. So if you're interested in that topic, I think you can check it out. But it's also interesting how it's all tied together, right? So, okay, maximizing the present moment, how can it look specifically? Some things I would probably focus on and will try to focus on moving forward are being in control of my attention, noticing my impulses, what can easily hijack my attention away, which typically will be my mobile phone, the reels, the post messages, again, all that stuff, and consciously choosing what I want to focus on. Again, sometimes maybe just experiencing boredom, reality in its raw, pure form, or choosing to focus on just one thing at a time, which I think again is something important. No multitasking, even for leisure. How many of you, for example, started watching a video or a movie, and after a few moments you just grabbed your phone and started again scrolling social media or looking through your messages. If you split your attention in this way, I think again you are detaching yourself from the present moment. If you try to focus on multiple things at once, you truly are not focusing on any of them. And in turn, you aren't able to truly or fully enjoy any of them. So I wouldn't do that. I would be careful about multitasking and rather choose just focusing on one thing at a time. I think that can help a lot. And what ties into it is detaching yourself from your phone, right? I oftentimes found, especially, I don't know, in exam periods at uni, when I truly have to focus on just one thing, studying, right? The mobile phone is just such an obstacle. If I have it right next to me, I can reach it just with my hand. So what I found works is just throwing it at the other end of your room, or ideally maybe putting it in a completely different room. So in that way, it's not as easily reachable, and it's sort of easier to again being in control of your attention, not letting your impulses hijack your attention, focusing on just one thing at a time is something that helps, I found. Practicing gratitude, I think, is a big thing as well. And I think it can be done retrospectively. For example, after each day, you just write down 3 things that you are grateful for. Or throughout the day, in random moments, you ask yourself, what is something that I can be grateful for right now at this moment? And those can be very small things like the sun is shining, it's warm outside, I can hear a bird singing, I just had a great coffee, or oh, look at this building, it's very nice, the architecture is cool, or whatever, right? And this is a practice I've tried pretty intensely or not intensely, maybe consistently over autumn last year, I think it really elevated my experience of everyday things, the little ones or even bigger events. You just, I don't know, you sort of practice this gratitude, and then it's reflected in all you do. Yeah. And slowing down, I also think, is a big thing. Maybe it's again tied to our tendency to multitask, do multiple things at once, and everything needs to be fast, right? Our attention span is usually short, with again being bombarded with the short format videos and posts like TikTok and Instagram Reels. We need to do everything quickly so we can move to the next thing. And something to counteract that, because it is again something I think that detaches you and distracts you from the present moment. You're always thinking, oh, what is the next thing I have to do, and this, and your attention is split into multiple things, and you're just not appreciating the present moment at all at times. And yeah, just slowing down, again, taking one thing after another, not rushing through it, focusing on the details of what you do, is something that I found personally that can, again, help sort of be grounded, be in the moment. And another thing that really keeps you grounded, or at least it works like that for me, is practicing some physical movement, a sport, workouts of any kind, or manual work. You know, I feel like the physicality of such activities is something that can easily grab your full attention. Oftentimes, you sort of have to focus on that activity. For example, if you are lifting heavy in the gym, you sort of have to be focused on that completely. Otherwise, you could injure yourself, right? So I think that it is easy for such activities to grab your full attention, which again practices all the other principles, focusing on one thing at a time, taking it slowly, not rushing through it, those sort of things. And plus, you sort of feel your body in that, which is also part of the present moment. This is how I feel right now. My muscles are tense, or my lower body is working. I feel the heat in my biceps after lifting, or after doing some hammer curls in the gym. It is happening right now, right here. So it just keeps you grounded. Also, it's usually healthy, so it's just win-win. Do some physical movement. And last but not least, I think meditation work or practicing meditation can be also really helpful, because it's sort of designed to bring you to the present, to train you to focus on just one single thing at a time, typically or usually your breath. And I think the practice will carry over, which is something I think is true for all of those things. Slowing down, practicing gratitude, being in control of your attention, doing physical movement regularly, training yourself to not be distracted by your phone. All those things will carry over, and the practice of focusing more on the present moment again will be something that will become a habit for you. And these are all fairly small steps, I would say. And as with any habit, the consistency is the key, I think. So, with consciousness, you'll be able to enjoy moments with friends more. You'll truly be focused on your conversations, on the questions others are asking you, and what you are interested in the other person. Possibly you'll see more opportunities for fun and shenanigans, for example. Or you'll be able to appreciate the quiet moments when you are alone, and even these will feel full. You won't be running away from the present moment, addicted to stimuli. Your mind won't be hijacked by the cycles of cheap dopamine. You'll appreciate the small things, small gestures of people that care about you. Your coffee will taste a bit better, your pillow will feel a bit softer, because you will be right here and now to taste it and feel it. At least that's the idea, the hope, right? And I don't know if I was speaking to you or me right now, but probably both, because as I mentioned, this is a personal topic for me as well, something that I want to practice more in my own life. I will try to do my best, and I wish the same for you. Good luck on your journey. Enjoy every moment of your life, because as the Stoics say, you never know which one will be your last. And it's not gruesome, it's just impulse to truly experience a life to the fullest. And I wish you just that. So good luck, take care of yourself, and until next time, bye.